Renee, thank you so much for spending the time with us.
It's my absolute pleasure to be here.
What I'd like to do is really talk about the last 22 years. So Artisiam, as you know, has been going for now just in excess of 22 years, which is crazy how time has flown. But really wanted to do this in a retrospective view of technology and its impact on operations, customer experience, etc., and also a bit of a predictive view about what changes are going to come.
Crystal ball time.
Yeah, it is.
So
a
you
kind
can
of
play
crystal
this
ball,
back
yeah.
in 10 years and go, you were so wrong.
Yeah. I guess the key thing I'd like to understand is the challenges and some of the major changes that you've seen during that period of time.
Sure. Well, thank you again for having me. I'm very blessed and honored to be part of your celebration this year. So where do I start? I was saying before we started filming that I'm celebrating my 25th year living in the UK. So as you can tell by my accent, I'm not originally from these parts, as Jeff Goldblum said in a movie a long time ago. But that's giving me a perspective that is very much based in Europe and in the UK. Mm-hmm. And if I think back to the types of projects that I was doing around call centers, around CRM, around how we were using tech to solve problems, they're really different to the types of problems we're solving for now. I think the big change is, of course, I was working in telephony at the time, mm-hmm. and I was working very much in this nascent mobile. You remember, text messaging?
Yep,
when
I do.
You paid for a text.
Yep.
No, at first text messaging was
free, and then they figured out you could charge for it.
And then they said, it can only be 40 characters, and you had to push one button at a time. You could not imagine that world would open up the world we have today.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have projected that it was going to move as quickly as it did.
If you're looking forward, and we'll go forward and back on the rest of this. So looking forward, I mean, what sort of opportunities are you now seeing coming out of that digital world?
Well, I think we're still getting to grips with the fact that the whole world went on a digital transformation in 3 months, right? So if we look at the amount of change fast forwarded to now that COVID has brought to all industries, all industries. You asked me a question, you gave me the questions beforehand. You asked me a question about what's the biggest change? Well, I think that's the biggest change because it's put loads of pressures on an industry, especially from a resource and a knowledge. But you think about everybody in the exec, everybody in all elements of businesses now can no longer go digital, whatever, right? Because it's permeating through everybody's businesses, whether they want it to or not.
And do you think that's a permanent change?
Absolutely, that's a
there's
genie.
There's no going.
That is a genie never going back in the bottle. Yes.
Do you see the demise of voice or not?
I see the change of voice.
Okay.
And so this is stuff that we're still wrestling around with in terms of when is a bot more useful than talking to a person? And if I think back to previous employers and going on a digital transformation pre-pandemic, there was a very clear trajectory. Do the simplest things. If we think back to, remember when BA introduced the app, right? BA, this is not a bargain priced service. BA has a certain amount of cachet to it, or at least it did then, right? And so they introduced their app, and their move to digital was genius because they only did the simplest things in that app.
Things that you do it well.
And then even a business class customer, even a first class customer would be happy to go through that channel over calling a call center or talking to someone because it was actually straightforward. And I think the pandemic and also our own exposure as a wider customer base, there are certain things that we would prefer to do without talking to a human being.
Yeah.
Because they're simple, they're straightforward. I know what I want, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to do my Waitrose order every week talking to a person. But when there's a problem with something they've sent me, I don't want to talk to a bot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that. Courgettes are off.
No, never send me courgettes. How you substituted your cucumbers for courgettes? I'm like, that is not a substitute.
So, question, AI hype or reality?
AI, the way it's depicted in movies, is totally hype. AI, when you look at the full spectrum of that, is already here. It's been here for quite some time, right? So if we think about the AI that figures out you only ever buy cucumbers and never courgettes, don't put courgettes in her basket as a substitution. Yay, yeah.
But freedom of choice, accidental liking.
Oh, no. Are you sure? Should pop back up.
Yeah.
AI that figures out that your pattern of spend has changed quite dramatically, and maybe that's fraud, right? So these things are already here.
Renee, thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, we're done.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I mean, we could carry on for ages because I mean there are
fun.
lots of different conversations, but certainly it's been insightful to listen to you retrospectively, but also in terms of the context of what's coming, what's new, what's real, what's not, etc., and just the tangible changes that have occurred. So no, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Indeed.
Thank you and congratulations.
No, 22 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I know it is.
And like that, right?
Yeah, quick.
22 more.
20, no.